Hey there, here's your final update. This is your computer right here. I was gonna put lots of scaling here, but it seems to keep crashing. The reason it might be because this isn't an official version. So if you want to get your own version, you can. It's like $6.99. So it's $7 on Steam, and I think it's really worth it. Unfortunately, every time I use it, it crashes. But like I said, this isn't the official version, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. I had it here, but it doesn't work. So no big deal. Your system is done for the most part. There's some things I gotta teach you because, like I said, I haven't like ironed everything out yet because I haven't had enough time to. But for the most part, everything else works. So here's your system, and we're gonna open retrobat. It's right here. Let me show you your drive. This PC. Kingston, that's a USB. Don't worry about it. That's my USB. Here's your actual drive. So as you can see, it says 5.45, but it's 6 terabytes. It just reads as 5.45. As you can tell, it says like 476, even though it's 500. Bits to bytes. There's a difference. So, but no biggie. No biggie. Here's everything. Retrobat. I created a shortcut to your desktop. That's really all you need. But if you go to this PC and you go to retrobat, you'll see it right there. And we're gonna go through here later. So let me eject this guy really quick, so I don't get confused with this guy. Okay, that was my USB. I just ejected it. That's done. So here's your controller. It is synced. I'm gonna turn it on now. And there we are. So everything you do is going to be here. So let's go to retrobat. You will need a keyboard and mouse, obviously. You can't use the NVIDIA overlay. We might use it in a bit just to see our library. See our performance, sorry. I just woke up from a nap. I was so tired, I'm kind of out of it. Alright, so here we are, and here's your controller. As you can tell, it is controlling it. So we do got the RGSX going on right here. It is working. So I did notice some of these games don't work. Like, let's see. I played this one. This one worked fine. I want to say it was Crysis 3 that didn't work. So like I said, if you hold this thing works the same way if you hold down the A button and you go to advanced game options. You can choose different emulators. This is the one I'm mostly using, the Xenia Manager Canary. This is the one you probably should use for mostly everything. I set it up for this. And I'll show you how to get into there later. But that should work for mostly everything. And then I would also try, if a game's not working, something you can do on each individual game is you can go to drivers and go to video. You'll have two options. You'll have Direct 3D and Vulkan. Vulkan's your primary one. That's probably the fastest backend. Vulkan's probably your primary. I think it autos to Vulkan. If Vulkan's not working and like your game's not running correctly, try Direct 3D. Just switch between these two. One of them will tend to work. And internal resolution for Xbox 360, I think you have to keep it at 720p. You can play around with it. Some games won't like it if you upscale, so just be aware of that. But other than that, the game system is working. Hey. And we're gonna hit that, what was it, Alt-Z to get the overlay here. And we're gonna go to our stats down here and just turn them on. And now we can see them right up there. You can't probably see them, but I can see them. But this game's working just fine. Alright, I'm gonna hit start delete. Just want to show you how Xbox 360 is working. All these other ones are mostly working. For a lot of these, if I haven't downloaded the emulator yet, but if you go into them and hit a game and ask if you want to download the emulator, just go ahead and hit yes. You should auto do it. Let's see if this one does it. This is the game? Okay, this is weird. Okay, so I didn't do it on that one. Oh, 3D detector, I see. But yeah, just go ahead and download it if it asks you to. See, PSP probably won't ask me to. See. Just a yes. And like I said, then the game should work. It'll just be a slight thing you have to do. I think you have to be online for that too. So just be on the internet. So I'm gonna get out of here. Something that I thought was really cool is that PS4 works on your computer too. It works pretty good. And like I said, PS4 is still in its infancy, so don't expect amazing performance out of it. But I was actually pretty surprised at how well it played. You see, this is Bloodborne for PS4. This is not bad. I wasn't sure how I was going to play on the 5600, but it's working pretty good. This is the newest version of PS4. It's 15 point, I think it's 15.1. So they must have improved it a lot from 14 to 15, because at 14 it was a stuttery mess. I know there's a version you can download that's specific for Bloodborne, but this 15 seems to be working great. I have updated the game as much as I can, so not bad. All right, let's get out of here. Now PS3, normally on my other systems I have it all set up, so I'm going to show you what happens when it's not set up, and this is going to probably happen to you with a lot of games. Unfortunately, because I haven't gone in there and fixed everything. So The Last of Us right now won't work. It'll freeze like mid-game. Not even mid-game, like you won't even get into the game. It'll freeze. I can try really quick. This performance slider isn't working, so I'm just going to turn it off. And it might have already frozen. Oh no, it's still going. I messed with the settings earlier, but I didn't think I actually saved them. Okay, so I did save my settings from earlier, because I didn't get this far last time that I tried it. That's my computer over there. It's taking a while because it has to create all the save data, and load all the shaders and stuff. Once you start a game, it won't take as long. This is actually pretty long for the first time. And it seems to have frozen. And this is what I was talking about. I was surprised because it actually got really far. I wasn't sure if I had saved it. But I'm going to show you what you can do to fix a lot of these games when you run into this problem, because you will run into some of these problems. We're going to get out of here. It's really simple. It's not hard at all. And then we're going to just exit. Alright, so now here we're in our main window. And we're just going to go open our folders, this PC. And we're going to go to our retrobat drive. Go to retrobat. And then you should see a folder called emulators right here. It says emulators, so we're going to click on it, and then we're going to go down and look for RPCS3. It's in alphabetical order, so just gotta go look for it. And here it is, RPCS3. We're going to click on it. And right here we have RPCS3, the actual emulator. So we're going to go ahead and double click on it. It'll be the little purple guy. And here's our actual RPCS3, the thing that actually plays the games. You can always bypass retrobat if you're just trying to play a certain emulator. They're all right here. So we're going to go to, what game was that? The Last of Us. You're just going to go look to the game that you were playing, and it's right here. And just be careful because sometimes there's two. There's a manual. This is a manual. And it'll say manual on there. So just make sure you don't mess around with the wrong one. So this is the actual game. And you can see it says in-game. So technically this game isn't playable, but you can play it on this system. So we're going to right click on it, on the game, and then you're going to see all these options here. And there's a couple things we can do. We can do manage game patches, and we can do there's a part down here that says download config database. So that's kind of what we want. We want to download all the configuration information, because in this version of in retrobat you can just download the database of like the settings that work best for this game. So we're just going to download it, and it's going to all just give us the automatic best settings to use on this game that work for most people. So it's already on there. So we're just going to double check, and we're going to see. So we click down here to download config database, and then now we have more settings where we can create custom configuration from database settings. That's what we want, because we got the database set, and now we want to see what that database gave us. So we're going to click on it, and I know for sure accurate RSX restoration access has to be on for this game, so it is on. Use rebar memory for, yeah, everything's good here. Atomic, that's good. Emulator, everything's good here. Let's check out our CPU. Our GPU, we have Vulkan, GTX 1070 Ti. Frame limit, I usually like to limit the frame rate to 60. Even though we won't really hit it, but. Right color buffers. I usually turn on asynchronous texture streaming. And we can change our output scaling to FSR. And here we can change our resolution. So right now we have it at 720p, but we can go to 1080p. Actually, I would leave this one alone at 720p, and I would up the scaling. So I would go here and go to like 200% for 1440p or 2K, and 3 times for 4K. I don't know if we can do 4K, but we can definitely do 1440p. But we'll leave it alone for now at 100%, 720p. And you can always play around with these settings, because if you mess around with these settings, it usually lets most of these games work. You just have to do trial and error, one at a time, figure out which one it is. I've gotten pretty good at it, and knowing when like it's visual, you might want to do like read color buffers, read depth buffers, handle RSX memory tiling, or write depth buffers. Like if you're missing some rendering, it's usually those, or it's write color buffers. Those are usually tied together. If it's not loading, like it gets stuck on something and it keeps getting stuck in the same spot around the same area, you can try the different recompiler. Well. Okay, so we're gonna leave this alone. Let me see. Make sure everything's correct. We don't have rebar. I don't think this GPU works with rebar. Alright, we're going to apply, and then we're going to save custom configuration. And now you'll see little bars right here, like little dials. That means we've messed with the game. And we can also start the game from here. So we're going to go ahead and start it from here and see if it works now. And now we're rendering the game, and you see we have a graphical glitch here. So not everything's correct, but we got further than last time, because before we couldn't even see this. We couldn't even see this load screen. So let's continue the prologue. So you might have to mess with the settings a little bit more. I'll mess with it before I ship it out, but just so you know, like, whereas before we didn't see that at all, it was just a black screen, and now we see it. And that was from the memory tiling. I don't know if memory tiling is supposed to be on, so I gotta double check. I'm gonna show you where to go to double check if the settings are correct. Because this gives you like what's worked with other people. But I know a lot of these emulators work best with Radeon, and we do have NVIDIA, so we do have an NVIDIA graphics card, so I'm gonna mess with it and try to get this game running. A lot of the games should work off the bat, but there will be some you're gonna have to mess with. And if you ever have questions, just let me know. Like I said, I'll be working through a lot of these as I'm going, because I also have to fix a lot of these. But figuring it out, it's pretty straightforward, and it's better if you figure it out, because you can see we're low in the game, but it already. See, it's acting weird. We have artifacting. It's working, but we got like a half screen working, the other half not. But it's improving from where we were last time. So there's still a setting that's not correct, as you can tell. And look, I can actually play it. But it's not rendering correctly. So we're gonna get out. We're gonna hit escape. Oh, I actually can't close it. I gotta close it from here. So the next thing we can do is we can go to our browser here. And then just type in ps3, the emulator, and the name of the game, The Last of Us. And then usually the first search will be right here. I also put an ad blocker if you notice that you lost all the ads on your browser. So use Chrome, because I put an ad blocker to block all the ads. Let's just click on the first one. Verify you're human. In here you'll see all the fixes that it tells you to do. You go to the GPU section, the advanced configuration. So basically when we're in the game here, let me show you. You see how it says GPU configuration? When you right click on here and you change custom configuration, see now it changed to custom. You'll see a GPU tab. That's talking about this guy right here. So we got to make sure all this stuff that it's telling us is actually on. We can actually turn off asynchronous texture. Maybe it didn't like it. And we can try multi-threaded RSX. We can change from Fidelity FX to bilinear. We'll go back to bilinear. Vulkan. We can try OpenGL, but Vulkan is faster. Precise. We can go to approximate. It's apparently faster. And shader quality, we can stay at high. And here down here, you have like a little description too. If you go over something, it says precise is more accurate. Approximate is much faster. It's a much faster way to generate occlusion data, which may not always match what the ps3 would generate. It works well with most games. So we're gonna go approximate. And stay on Vulkan, we might have to switch to OpenGL. I know that has to be on. We're going to take off, let's see, under advanced setting, fixes various visual issues for, okay, that one says we need it. Required to go in game, fix visual issues caused by ref depth buffers. So it says we need all of those. So we're going to just leave them on there. We could try fast for RSS FIFO. We'll just try that. And then we're gonna, I usually put driver wake up delay at 120 on most games. Usually when it freezes, I turn that on, and then I also turn on SPU loop detection. Like if the game keeps freezing around the same area, try that. Try enable SPU loop detection and driver wake up delay at 120. That usually seems to work. That's more of an Intel problem. So we're gonna hit apply, save custom configuration, and then there's one more thing we can do. When you right click on the game, instead of going to change custom configuration, there's a manage game patches. So we're gonna click on that. And if it asks you to update, always hit no. So here are like speedups we can use for the game. These are patches that we can use. We can unlock FPS, we're gonna click on that. We can skip the intro, we can click on that. Infinite flashlight battery, I usually keep that on. Enable GPU lighting. Disable SSAO, that usually speeds up your game. Disable immersion blur, disable mesh trimming, disable built-in MLA, disable bloom, depth border fix, we're gonna click on that. And bug fix, infected, sever head crash, we're gonna fix that. And we're gonna try that now. So we're gonna hit apply and save. Sometimes these patches will fix artifacting that we see in the game. Then we're gonna go in there again and see if that helped at all. If we freeze in game, it's probably one of the patches. So I'll just go through the patches and disable them one by one until it works. And I want to say the one I'm not too sure about is mesh trimming. I think the last time one of the systems, it froze when I had that on. And I'm sorry this video is so long. I just want to show you this stuff because you're going to run into this. Because normally under Batocera, I did all this stuff. And I did it for almost every game. But now that we're using retrobat, I haven't really done it because I'm still working on it. But once you go through all the games, man, you're going to be an expert. And anytime a game freezes or something or doesn't work. And look at that. all our lighting issues, all our rendering issues, all fixed. And so, like a lot of times you're gonna see games that don't work. This is what you're gonna have to do. And as you can see, like already, we little by little we were improving, and now it seems to be working perfectly fine. And these are the things you have to do. Just revert to this video because I'm gonna keep it up because you're gonna need it at first. And you can always look online, look in like YouTube, like put in your game and put out ps3. People will usually upload videos of what works for them. And like I said, as you do this, you're gonna get really good at it. And as you download more games, because you do have the ability to download PS3 games, you're gonna have to go through all of this. All the other systems are usually not as bad as mostly PS3. That's really finicky. And PS4, you're gonna have these issues too. So I mean, PS4 doesn't have as many options, but as it gets better, you're gonna have a lot of these options. So you're gonna really like learn this stuff, and it's gonna help you a lot as you expand your library. And look at that. Look at that. Now our game is playing perfectly. I mean, we still got the slight slowdown, but that was because it's still rendering the shaders. So in the beginning of every game, you're gonna have slight slowdowns because it's rendering the shaders and all that stuff. And you see we had some screen tearing. We can turn on desync under the settings where we were earlier. But okay, just wanted to show you that. Okay, so now we're gonna exit out the game. When you're here in this thing, you're gonna have to go through your keyboard and hit escape. And then here it tells you your FPS. We're at 32. Earlier we were at 20. So we're just gonna get out of here. And that's The Last of Us. So I know the Evil Within you're gonna have to adjust. I haven't done it yet. Oh crap! I don't want to load the game. And some of these games you won't have to adjust, but I'm just showing you how to do it. See, so The Last of Us ps3. If you want, you can bookmark this page and you can search other games. So a great resource. So now we're gonna get out of here. So if you ever download our PS3 games, even through RGSX, it might not. If it doesn't download them correctly and you can't see them in your library, I'm going to show you how to fix that because it's very simple. And same with PS4. Those two systems, you need to do something specific. So we're going to go back to our this PC, and then we're going to go to retrobat X. Here's retrobat. Double click, and then here in the where all the folders are at, we're going to go to ROMs. This is where all your games are at. So we're going to double click that, and then we're going to go for PS3. Here it'll say PS3, not RPCS3. And let's look for PS3. Here's PS3. And let me expand this here. As you can see in the folders, every folder that I have here ends in .ps3. You see that right there? The name of the game, .ps3. You have to have it end in .ps3. So you have to have a folder that the folder with the name and the ending is .ps3. If you don't have the .ps3, it will not detect the game. And then the game sits inside. Okay, and it has to be in this format, where it says PS3 game, PS3 update, and then PSC disk SFB. Okay, and then you put that information and you put it onto a folder that says the name of the game and .ps3. Same with PS4. So PS4, when you download a game, if it doesn't say .ps4, it will not detect it. And here's your PS4 games. They're all here, and they're also in here where it says PS4. And then I'm going to show you one more thing. So we're back into, let's go back to this PC. Here's retrobat X. And then we're going to go to retrobat. And then we're going to go to emulators. So we have our emulators, which is the thing that, like the systems, and then we have the ROMs, which are the games. So we're going to go back to emulators. And we're going to go to Xenia for Xbox 360. And we're going to go to Xenia Manager down here. It's Xenia Manager. And then we're going to double click on the exe. Xenia Manager. Oh, and I didn't have that now. That's why probably some of the games didn't work. So we're gonna hit download it now. So you might have to go through all this stuff. Earlier, one of the games was crashing, and it was that's probably why. So I didn't have the .NET framework, and I might have to do a restart. I hope not. No, I don't have to. That's good. Let's try it again. Let's double click. And here's all our games. Okay, so here the Xenia manager is awesome. Here we have Fable, as you can see. Fable does not work because we don't have Connect, so don't even bother, and it has a big red right here that says it does not work. Anything that has that big red right here, or it says game path invalid, we don't have that game. So these two games we don't have. So don't even bother with those. Then we can just delete them from here. And then we'll delete this one because we don't have it. All right, here's all our games. So here we have the same thing. We can right click on the game, and we can download patches. We can install local, or we can download patches from repository, and that'll help you with like graphical issues or issues the game might have. And then also, if we go down to Xenia settings, if we go up here to the specific game, let's say Blue Dragon, I already did it for most games. Here's all your settings that you can play around, like your CPU, so context promotion, and you can adjust settings, or you can just download them right here. Optimize settings right here. I did that for most games, so you're gonna have to do that for games as you download them. So you're gonna have to set up the optimize settings here, and then save it. Make sure you save it for every time you do it. And if a game still doesn't work, you can mess around with these settings. You can mess around with the patches, and you can run the game directly from. Let's close this. Directly from here, so you don't have to do it through retrobat. But yeah, great resource to have. I love Xenia Manager, and Xenia Manager is what I've told the system to select to play with, like to play the Xbox 360 games, because that when you download an Xbox 360 game, it's gonna show up on here, and you're gonna have to adjust it here. So you'll have to go to the little Xenia settings right here. Look for it on the drop down, double click it, and then download the optimal settings, and then you hit save. And then if it still doesn't work, you just have to play around with these settings. For the most part, it should work though. All games should work once you get the optimal settings. So we're gonna get out of here. And that's about all I wanted to show you. Every other system should work just fine. RGSX works, everything else works. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I will update more videos. Sorry this video is so long, but you're gonna need this. And just message me with any questions.